Welcome to the day 2 of the Remote Duel TCG Invitational Europe. I am Marcello Barberi.
And I'm Alberto Grazzi.
And we'll guide you through this intensive day of Yu-Gi-Oh! And dueling. Yesterday we tuned in with our top 16 direct elimination, where we go through and went through every single match for the top 16, which then lead to today, where we are going to do the same for the entire top 8. First of all, I want to thank you guys for watching, both today and yesterday. And if you missed any content, you can find all of the past VODs even here on YouTube. And just make sure to see if you missed any action and tell your friends to just come in and watch, because today it will be just as good. And also, as a final reminder, we are having other streams in different languages, so make sure to check them out. There are links down below if you prefer to watch it in your own native language. So we have a German, Italian, Spanish, and French stream. So thanks to our colleagues as well. So first of all, I want to go through the rules we are having for this weekend. So just like yesterday, it will be advanced constructed format, but 50 minutes each round. We gave our players 10 more minutes, which are definitely helpful nowadays with the remote duel mechanics. And I gotta say, we were pretty lucky yesterday because we never got into time. So I think the 50 minutes addition was great. It's, of course, best of 3 and single elimination. But what happens if we do reach the time out today? So as for a regular YCS, the duel must be declared a win, a loss, or a draw. But since we are at the direct elimination portion, draws are not possible. So if that would be the case, and if there is a tie for wins, the duelists will play a sudden death game. Yesterday it was never the case, but maybe tomorrow it will be. But now I would like to shift our attention on these 16 players. So we prepared some caricatures of them. So let's go through the players overview for the event. As you can see here, highlighted in red are the players that made it to day 2. So we will be seeing them today once more in action. The field was quite spread, and these guys had to do a lot to qualifiers, which were held in the 4 different regions for this event. So UK, France, Germany, and Italy. And they had to come in top. So it was quite a tough field to overcome. And as you can see yesterday, everyone proved to be quite good and experienced with their deck. But surprisingly, we saw something I think have never seen before in any tournament. It was all 2-0 victories.
Yeah, something we never see, actually. We see, tough games, but I think it was the first time ever. Maybe.
Absolutely, yeah. We never made it to game 3, which is quite an extraordinary feature. We'll see if the same trend goes on for today, or we'll see. But regardless of that, I would like to now bring you guys up on the screen the menus for today. So what is the bracket and the final bracket after day 1 has been done? So as you can see, we have the 4 matches for the top 8 already prepared for you guys. As for yesterday, we will start from the top left corner. So the first match that is gonna come up just in a few minutes is the one between Daniel Hartmann and Danyllo Verweij, which we both saw yesterday. It is gonna be a virtual world mirror match.
Yeah, it's gonna be very tough because yesterday we saw how difficult it is to play a virtual war mirror match, because not only the dice is important, but also you have to deal with trucking of all calamities and the hand traps, which are played they're very popular this weekend, such as Nibiru, Lancia. It's gonna be a very interesting match to see.
Yeah, and as you can see, the path for both of these guys was actually different, because Daniel had to play against Leonardo, who was the first place at the qualifier in Italy with his Zodiac Catholic deck, but he beat it quite convincingly, I gotta say, both with a combination of a little bit of a bad luck in game 1 for Leonardo, but a demonstration of superiority, I think, clear in game 2 by Daniel. While I gotta give the advantage to Danilo, because differently from Daniel, he already faced a mirror match in round 1. Benjamin, who qualified from the UK, was absolutely destroyed by his opponent, and that means that he's already prepared to face the mirror match.
Yeah,
it was absolutely astonishing demonstration of play, I would say, which also mean that I think only in one of the matchups yesterday we allowed it out. The die roll was somewhat important, but for the rest, I think it is not a chance.
Exactly.
The fact that every match went on to a 2-0 victory means that the die roll this format is probably less important than it ever was.
Yeah.
Going second, and especially in game one, we saw a lot of these players preparing for going second, meaning multiple end traps. So I absolutely think that they did a great job preparing for the field. But once again, if I gotta give an advantage to one of these guys, it's probably Danilo, just because he already faced a mirror match. But without further ado, I think our players are ready. So we should just jump to the table and see who is gonna be the first player to advance to the top 4. Okay, so seems like they are pretty much ready to go. And once more, I wanna tell you guys that you can find even additional information on the official website and on our pages on social media. But this match is definitely, I would say, arguably, outside of the final, the most important match of the weekend. Because if you make it to the top 4, you're guaranteed a copy of the YCS prize card, which is definitely a prize that is worth celebrating alongside your friend. So I'm sure these guys will be even more focused than they already were tomorrow. So looking at the deck lists, what do you think is the main difference between these guys' deck list?
So Daniel, as we saw yesterday, is main decking 3 copies of Artifact Lancia, which is gonna be very huge in my opinion, and he's also playing 3 Pot of Prosperity along with the Pot of Desires. So he has a lot of good starters. While on the other hand, Danilo is playing Lancia as well, but he's only relying on Pot of Prosperity and is playing Foolish Burial Goods, which we haven't seen so much this weekend, but I think is very good because it gives you one more card in the graveyard like the Shinglong if you really need to start things off, and it's going to be a very interesting duel. Especially because I think that, you know, as you said before, the die roll is not that important. I think players usually want to win the die roll, but it was not that relevant because playing so many hand traps and being prepared to play against this kind of matchup is always good to have multiple options.
Absolutely, and if you just tuned in, you're not going crazy, because it seemed as if Danilo won the die roll, but our judges just communicated to us that for the first time, I think in my career, both as a player and as a commentator, they decided for a low roll, so the lowest roll wins, and that is why we're seeing Daniel go first. And he will do with a pretty strong opening, so... the Pot of Prosperity works out, but as you can see here, there is a little bit of a flaw in his deck building, because the Prosperity is a great tool, but it limits the card drawn in the same turn. You cannot activate cards that will draw you more cards, so the Pot of Desires are not actually useful. Okay, so Ash Blossom comes down.
I think this is a smart play, but if he has Gamma, he has...
Ooh, wow. Wow, we're already seeing us. Wow, okay. This one is being quite a fast one. So Danilo, I think just like yesterday, went second in game 1 and he opens 2 hand traps. This was enough against his opponent in round 1, Benjamin. But let's see if it is gonna be the same case here. At the end of the day, with 3 cards left in hand, there is a good chance that Daniel can still do a few combos, but let's just see how good the rest of these cards are.
What do you think? I think the Ash was good here on the city because...
yeah, it's understandable.
I mean, he had the Shinglong, maybe he really needed to have cards in the graveyard, so... I think it's fair. It's a fair move.
Absolutely, absolutely. So... now it's all on Daniel. He definitely needs... some good Virtual War monsters, like a Lulu, plus a way to trigger it would be perfect. But again, you can see here just how much the die roll does not impact this specific matchup. So
having so many end traps gives you the opportunity to stop your opponent and being smart when.
Okay, and yet again another of the tech cards. Interesting hands though. He had actually Nibiru. Yeah, as you can see here, because of the prosperity, the talent cannot draw 2 cards. So it will use the effect to look at your opponent's hand and just pick one of them. And it will be the Nibiru. Okay. I mean, not much of a choice, I guess, since the other was just 2 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. But this makes it so that this game will be a weird one. Unless Daniel actually has a way to combo off. Okay.
Now, I think Daniel really here needs to make something, because next turn Danilo will have direct access to the Qinglong with the Foolish Burial Goods. But here is very good because you can activate the Lao Lao. And
yeah, it's not super impressive, but
you can still manage to maybe go for a Shen Shen.
Let's see, because the one in normal summon is a Lulu, right? So aren't they both tuner then? That's the thing. So you cannot synchro summon. That's the problem. So he probably makes like an M7 or so he goes for the M7. That's the main issue. Since they are both tuners, he couldn't go for a synchro summon, but at least he found a way to make the best out of it and just go for an M7.
Yeah, I think he really wants to have a sort of interaction, because
and I think he activated the effect to get back the Lulu, probably. Yeah.
It seems like.
So the Gamma should be banished alongside the driver, and as it is. And now Danilo needs something. I mean, he has a lot of good draws because the Foolish Burial Goods means that he can send the Qinglong and just discard the other copy to get any good virtual words. So if he top decks something like a city or another decent card, I think Daniel is in trouble.
Yeah, if he drew any other virtual word monster, I think he's in a good position, because the Qinglong, he can discard the other copy of Foolish Burial Goods. But this is pretty interesting. Maybe he passed turn. Let's see. It's not clear, but
yeah, I think he didn't get what he was looking for.
And he decided to pass. Maybe just hopes. Maybe he found a Lancia. Let's see. Yeah, he drew a Lancia, which is good. I mean, he's maybe preventing Daniel from making more moves this turn, but it's not easy. I mean,
it's tough. It's definitely one of the ways. I think Adrian Dursun, one of the players that was eliminated yesterday, said that he thinks this deck is quite good because he can do both. Basically, things that a control deck would do, which is what we are seeing right now. But it also works as a combo deck, which is the main focus. But this is why the mirror match. As a lot of players we interviewed yesterday, they mentioned they decided to bring a different deck because they were not comfortable with the mirror match. And here you can see why. Calamity is really good, but it's usually not enough on his own to win, and therefore these grind games happen more than you would think so.
And now let's see if Danilo finds out a way. Wow, no, he didn't.
No, Danilo, unfortunately, after stopping his opponent right away, doesn't seem like he found much, so... Do you think it was worth activating the good, at least one of the goods at the beginning?
Yeah, I think he could have activated one goods at least to send a Qinglong, and maybe, you know, just because you cannot activate another copy in the same turn, so maybe it would have been better, but seems like Daniel has...
I mean, I don't think... The only mistake I think Daniel should prevent is playing on Nibiru. Yeah. Because Danilo is only at 5300, so if you just maybe go for a synchro summon directly. Yeah, and I think that's what he's doing now. He's counting because now he's on 2 summons. I think if you just summon another virtual word and then you synchro, it's 4. And you exactly. So the Kirin is the correct one. You just go for Kirin, synchro summon, and it's enough. So
Here comes the Lily, targets the Lulu. Yeah.
So it's gonna send both the trap and a spell, and I think this should be enough. The only way I can see this going wrong is if he plays on to the Nibiru, but he has one more summon yet to be safe.
Yeah, here he just needs a synchro summon. I think he's just making some maths.
Yeah, and this is actually even enough if he doesn't synchro summon, I believe. So he doesn't need to do much. And yeah, he enters the battle phase. Danyllo has seen enough. So well played by Daniel, and we have already the game 1 winner here. It's Daniel Hartmann. Definitely an interesting game. It seems like Danyllo stopped his opponent, but in the end, the triple tactics talent, I think it's the card that sealed the deal.
Yeah, it paid off because Danyllo didn't have that much. I mean, he started off with Ash and Gamma, which were very good, and we thought he could have stopped Daniel's turn, but unfortunately he drew into a Lancia, which stopped Daniel from making other moves into this second turn. Yeah, maybe he could have activated a Foolish Burial Goods, but I think he didn't change the match. So
yeah, he wouldn't have changed much.
And right now, I think looking at the side deck, I mean, we were talking about it. Maybe I think Danyllo will, by the moment that he lost game 1, he didn't really want to risk. And yeah, I mean, he has triple tactics talents if he wants to side them in. I think they're very good by starting. And
yeah, it's the main difference in their deck list, I would say. It's that Daniel is already maining the card, while Danyllo has the copies. And we just saw how good it is. It's really good going first, because it acts as a pseudo call by the grave, allowing you to push forward. But it's also just as amazing going second, because they open calamities, then you can just either take control of it or just fish for more, while his opponent is supposed to be going second, and he has quite a lot of resources in the side deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be easy because I mean, in this kind of mirror match, you can also you have a lot of different options. That's the Mischief, which is very good. Even if you go second, I mean, it's a good card. And
yeah, but mainly also, I'm looking at Dark Lure no more. Exactly. Usually, you rarely see calamities being activated in the standby phase because of Gamma, and if Dark Lure no more comes down, then that could be a very quick game for Daniel. So.
And now, Danyllo, I think, yeah, we'll go first. So, ends are picked up.
Yeah. Let's see if this game will be decided once more by the card we just highlighted on screen for you guys. One of the most impactful spells at the moment. And once again, for the second game in a row, we see Pot of Prosperity being activated.
This card gave a huge boost to all of these decks that really relied on seeing new cards and new resources. We've seen these cards in sub-errors, and also yesterday being played by Zodiac Eldritch. So I think it's a very good card from Blazing Vortex, yeah.
I think pretty much every deck is using it at the moment, so not much of a surprise, and it makes sense. I mean, it's never a bad card to use even in the main deck, and once it gets to the game 2 and 3, it just so easily gets you one of the side deck cards. So let's see what Danyllo is gonna add. The talent is there among the options, but he may be looking for something more combo-ish, and he does pick up the Lily. So
yeah, it looks like he already has maybe a CD or a Qinglong, which could be very good.
Let's see.
Yeah,
the Qinglong comes down. And now the Lily is activated. Let's see if Daniel has a response. Doesn't seem like he's that concerned at the moment. So we will see a monster and a trap being sent to the graveyard. And this is also one of the main differences. Danyllo is playing the 1 copy of Xuan Wu, while Daniel is not using the card at all, which is not the most common deck building I've seen this weekend for this deck.
But yeah, it's usually one off card that you really want to play because it gives you one extra chance to you know have a different combo. And I mean, maybe he felt confident enough not to play.
Yeah. So here we could see a bunch of different options. One is to summon the Vermilion to just destroy itself and get back the Lulu and go from there, which is one of the standard plays, because then you can easily just go for a Cloud Castle. But oh, the Cold by the Grave. This is very brave by Danilo. He gives up Cold by the Grave. And let's see if he will be punished by that. As expected, he goes for Vermilion. But now the Lancea comes down, and that Cold by the Grave could have been so good. So, an interesting line of play by Daniel. And unfortunately, Danilo thought that the talent was better than the Cold by, which is quite arguable. And now he reveals a hand of 2 ops, so it's either GG or CD.
What would you do in that situation? I mean, you
probably the GG for sure. Like, no, because I mean, at least you can normal summon the other GG and it has some sort of use, while the second CD is completely useless. So
it's interesting that he decided to discard the Cold by. I think maybe he felt safer with the triple tactic style.
Yeah, this will be, I think, the game changer. Like, with the Cold by, he could have done the turn without caring about his opponent, because as we just saw, it was the only entrap, but maybe he felt like the Lancia would have come earlier. As you said, sometimes in the mirror match, you just use it in the draw phase, the standby right away. So
yeah, this is another interesting discussion, because he could have activated immediately, you know. He knows that his opponent is playing Virtual War. Maybe he could have shotgun it, maybe. Or maybe just wanted Danilo to use some of his resources.
Yeah, either way, let's hope that Danilo doesn't regret too much his play. And now, as expected, we see the GG and the CT we knew were there. So pretty good opening. He now gets to send the Queen Long and just go off from there. And that means that the last card in Danilo hand is a card that he kept. Alongside, and it's a Lancia. Okay, so we see the Lancia once more trying to decide the match. It reminds me a lot of the Necrots format, where you would just use Lancia every turn, and usually the second Lancia was the game winner.
Yeah.
So
it was a very grand game. You know, you have to consider all the options. Be careful about what killers at the time. So.
Yeah, because now the problem is we know one of the cards in Daniel land is completely useless, which is the other copy of City. So he's relying entirely on the top deck, and he doesn't have it. So he just passes back to his opponent, and let's see if maybe he picked up the third copy, but no, that's not the case. So finally now the Vermilion can be activated, and just as predicted, he will get back the Lulu. So.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, if we draw like an Ash or Gamma, would be huge. But I mean, they are the only 2 cards I'm thinking at the moment. Because otherwise, Danilo has, you know, he can activate all of
right now he's completely fine. As mentioned, the Vermilion is such a great tool to revive later on with Cloud Castle. So I am smelling problems for Daniel. And maybe it will be the first time in the entire week to see a game free.
Yeah.
So a bit of a change from yesterday. Okay, so he has GG and...
he sent the Chuche. Yeah. I think at this point Danilo has a very good chance to seal this game, because doesn't seem like Daniel has any kind of response to that. So... the GG is fine, and he sends the Qinglong, so you can also activate it. Maybe we'll get a Lao Lao. Let's see what he decides to do.
So one thing I can tell you guys is that Daniel is not playing Nibiru in the main or in the side deck, so at least Danilo doesn't have to worry about that in specific. The only other entrops that he might have was Ash, which we probably would have seen, so we can assume that he might not have another entrap in hand. So let's see.
It'll be very interesting to know why. He was not the only one player to decide not to play. Also, Adrian Dursu, we saw yesterday, was not main decking or side decking in Nibiru.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was just more of a read, but we see the in the event and in the other side of the bracket specifically, we have a Dragon Link and a Phantom Knight deck, also similar. There are pretty much combo decks that suffer Nibiru a lot.
Yeah.
So if they end up in the final or in the other top 4, then I think they will regret this decision.
Because I think you are guaranteed to activate the Lancia anyways in the mirror match, because you can risk the number 75. So maybe that was the main decision not to play the Nibiru, because rather than that, maybe against the the Dragon Link deck is very good.
But for now, again, as predicted, Danyllo is just going on full mode. You might see the Cloud Castle here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he will go for Cloud Castle, bring back the Vermilion deck. Or maybe the Shenshen if he really wants to, but I think the Cloud Castle should be fine. I think he's considering it.
Yeah, he's thinking about how much he can do, but yeah, the Cloud Castle comes down. He would bring back the Vermilion, and we'll see the first calamities for this mirror match, which is definitely not a common thing after 20 minutes of Virtual World. We haven't seen a calamities yet. Which means, by the way, that from Monday on, when the new Forbidden Unlimited list will be effective, this deck is still viable, and it's up to you guys to just find other ways to combo off and make it even more efficient than it is already. So
yeah, I mean, we were talking about this team yesterday, because we have seen a lot of Virtual World players not relying on the choking of all calamities, because you cannot always have access to it. And there are a lot of different combos, and also Virtual Wars is so powerful that you can basically play a lot of different Synchro Master in your extra deck. So
yeah, there are a lot of different combos that you can go for. Right now, the laziest in a way, because it's quite efficient and easy to do, is the Calamities, but there are multiple other ways that this deck can be played. So right now, plays resume, and it's on Danyllo to continue his turn. There are no cards in Daniel's end that can negate the Cloud Castle, so for now, he will continue on.
Yeah, no surprise here. We will soon see us looking over calamities, and
you think he should attack first and then make the calamities just to play around a possible lightning storm?
I think so. I think it will be better.
Yeah, because Lightning Storm is one of the tools that we are seeing people side overall this weekend and in general, but it can only destroy monsters in attack position. Yeah. Therefore, that is the main reason why you're seeing Calamities being summoned in defense.
Yeah, you can get rid of the GG anyway, so I think it would be better anyway for Danyllo to attack over it with the Vermilion mech.
Absolutely.
And here, just a little bit of clarification, maybe, just to be sure that everything is fine. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this deck after the Forbidden Unlimited list tomorrow, because, I mean, it's a control deck, but at the same time, it's a very cool deck to see, because you have a lot of combos, and I would really like to see the variant with the Ultimate Tzolk'in. I hope really someone goes for it. But seems like the game state, everything is fine.
Yeah. Just gotta make sure that we don't have any technical problems with them, and for now it's quite smooth. Our judges are doing a great job both at fixing possible language barriers and technical issues that might arise between the players, but as you can see, they're also being provided with equipment and other ways to just avoid any possible problems this weekend. And also it's worth mentioning that Danyllo is doing us a favor by sponsoring, just like yesterday, the Neuron app on the table on his phone, which is an incredible tool for Yu-Gi-Oh! You should check it out and download it and check all the possible features it contains. It makes dueling, and especially remote dueling, so much easier for you, and I suggest you all to check it out and download it on your phones.
he decides to go for calamities here. Because I think he doesn't want to risk any Lancia or Nibiru, so that's why maybe he decided to.
Yeah, I think he doesn't know. Maybe, I mean, if he followed the stream, maybe we could have talked about it. But overall, without knowing, you want to make sure that you play around Nibiru, and he felt like this was safer. He wants to push a little more damage, and this is a decent way to do it.
Now he sends the Lily, and he special summon the Gigi, and Nyan Nyan comes back.
He still has a lot, so the Nyan Nyan can come back, as he just discarded it with the Qinglong earlier in the turn, and now
I think maybe he can go for a Stardust Charge Warrior or Juju. Okay, he goes for Juju, fair enough. And let's see what he shuffles back with the Nyan Nyan here.
Yeah, the only thing he's missing at the moment would be the SHUEISHA of his own. But outside of this, he's doing a great job. And maybe there is an option to go for an M7 later on and get to add a possible Entrop back to his hand, like the Lancia, which I think would seal the deal entirely.
Yeah, it's looking very good for Danyllo. The only piece is missing, as you said, is the SHUEISHA, but rather than that, I think he has all the possible options here. If he really wants to, he could overlay the Juju and the Lao Lao, but I don't think he will. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends if he wants to go for the safer approach. I think M7, this is absolutely safe. The most obvious one would be to get back the Lancia, but let's see. He might even get back one of the resources for next turn.
Yeah, I think Lancia.
Lancia was just the safest option. The only thing I'm concerned with here is, as mentioned, that the order could have been slightly different, because now if Daniel sided the Lightning Storm, that could have been a punish, but of course we gotta keep in mind that it's not an obvious choice.
Yeah, I think Danyllo wanted to avoid being Nibiru or Lancia, so I think he took this risk, but now he comes to Zeus. Yeah, which is something we don't see really much in a match, but it's here, so just in case.
Yeah, and of course the SHUEISHA for now is also locking the Storm, so he would need to get to find a way of getting rid of that before. But this seems like Danyllo is doing a phenomenal job, I would say.
And maybe for the first time,
they're just trying even more their best, and also it's the second time they've been playing Dream. Yesterday there might be a tension, you know. Today they already won a match. They feel quite confident. As you can see here, Danyllo, Lancia, Calamities, and Zeus, and I don't see how Daniel can come out of this. Maybe the talent is a way to start, but
I think the only card would be the talent, because rather than that, I don't think that he could survive the next turn, because he has the Zeus and the Calamities, and he also has the Lulu. So let's see. Yeah,
I think Daniel probably would have scooped to even just one of the 3 threats, but with all of them on the field, there was no chance at all. So well played by Danyllo, and we have our first game 3 of the weekend. Who is gonna advance to the top 4 and claim his copy of the prize card? We'll soon find out. And now it's on Daniel to decide who is going first for the final duel.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game, because they're not only playing, you know, to win, but who goes to the top 4, you know, gets the YCS prize card, and you know, it's one of these cards that you really want to add to your collection. You can share it with friends, you know, and Yeah, I think we will see a very nice game. The photo in these two games, we have seen a lot of cool moves. Lance has been activated, King of all calamities, the Zeus, and here I think there's no way Daniel wants to lose this one after winning game one.
Yeah. It seems tough for now. It's also the first time we are seeing not only a game 3, but whoever goes first taking the game. So we'll see if this will be the case for game 3 as well.
And we saw that yesterday Danilo already played the virtual mirror match and was able to win.
Yeah. So Daniel is playing a interesting tech card, which is there because he can play Foolish Curial goods. So as you can see here, Mischief of the Gnomes, interesting card. It was played back in the day in Paleozoic sometimes because you can send it with Marrella, and it's useful against decks that rely on synchro summoning heavily. It was good against ABC as well.
Also in the Burning Abyss.
Yeah,
it was very good. Yeah,
absolutely. And here it can easily mess up some of the combos for these guys. So we'll see if we'll finally see that card in action. But
yeah, it's one of these cards you don't really expect from players to be played. But it's there, and hopefully we will see it in action.
Absolutely. So now, last time, one of these guys is gonna draw 5 or 6 cards of his weekend, while the other one will be the first to advance to the top 4. Let's see if it's gonna be Daniel or Danilo. Seems like they're pretty much ready, and luckily enough, there are still more than 20 minutes remaining, so time is still far. Okay.
Let's see if we will see for the 3rd time in a row a Pot of Prosperity.
And no, so this time we see more of a convention from Daniel. He normal summons the GG and reveals the Lily, which is a fair opening. He gets to send both the Queen Long and the SHUEISHA, since he's the one not playing the Xuan Hu.
Yeah.
And now, once again, Danilo, for every past duel, always had at least 1 or 2 entraps. Let's see if that would be the trend for this duel as well. But the Lancea at least is not there, because he would have used it for sure earlier on. Possibly even the Gamma. What do you think? I think the Gamma on Lily could have been really good if you see such a weak start.
Okay, this is very interesting because he decides to get rid of the triple tactic style. Maybe he has another copy.
I would say so.
Yeah, maybe he has another copy, or maybe he has Cold Buy.
And he does the opposite as Danilo did.
Because here you don't really want to get Nippy root, you know. And
the discarding triple tactics is definitely not something you see every day. So first thing that comes to mind is a second copy must be in the end. Let's see, because now the Lulu is activated, and there is a Gamma. Okay. I'm not sure if I like this too much. Maybe he wanted to play it safe, but I think there is also a consideration that the Gamma on the Lily could have stopped Daniel turn entirely. I don't know, I have this feeling, but Danilo wanted to play it a little safer, and now let's see, because the second copy of Talent should be in the end for Daniel. I would be surprised if that wasn't the case. So if it's not there, it's the second time in a row that we see both Danilo and Daniel discarding a crucial card, and it doesn't seem like it is.
No. It's very tough now, because I think he's going for M7 once again.
Maybe it's just M7, get back the Lulu, and... okay, no, it's Beatrice, okay. So he wants to push forward, and maybe this is also one of the reasons why Mischief of the Gnomes is interesting. Not only you can send it with the goods, but it can also be sent with the Beatrice. So, and you can wait because you can send it later on as well. Let's see if that will be the case. Yes, so we do see Mischief of the Gnomes. So now, as predicted, the card comes in handy. Well played by Daniel to find a way to abuse of the card, which I think is really cool. And as predicted as well, the second copy was there. But Ash again from Danilo. So interesting first turn. Once more Danilo, 2 entraps, and once more Daniel finding out a way to go through. Do you think the Beatrice should have been summoned in defense? Is there a reason why he put it in attack?
I mean, I would have summoned in defense just in case, just to be sure that maybe to prevent a lightning storm.
Yeah. The Gamma once more should be banished, but I'm pretty sure Daniel noticed. So.
The thing I was thinking about is the Ash, because Danilo, I think, knew where to activate the Ash Blossom. I think he knew Daniel could have their triple tactic.
Absolutely. So, the Mischief. Okay, wow, and we see a set card. Interesting by Danilo. Like the Mischief can be held because, as we know, all the virtual words activate from hand. You can just chain it and then wow. But seems like Danilo completely bricked. So he just sets 1 card and pass. Plays back on Daniel, who can first of all even just use the second part of Beatrice, and he will do. Yeah. He has a lot of options. He can send the Queen Long potentially, but
it looks like maybe Danilo has plenty of entraps, or maybe multiple copies of Laula or Lily Lancia.
Yeah, he just top decked the Lancia, which he didn't have last turn, and this is so bad for Danilo. When you are in such a spot, you hope that your entraps are able to break your opponent's hands as well, but Daniel already is doing well, and now he will be able to make a Gaia and then make the Zeus. So he's completely in control, and yeah.
And also because Daniel has 2 banish cards, this means that if his set card is a Chuche, you will be able to get rid of one of Danilo cards next turn. So here comes the Zeus, and it's looking good for Daniel now.
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy for Danilo.
This is definitely tough. It might be the case that Daniel will be the one who advances to the top 4. Now we do see one of the other cards, and maybe the reason why Daniel is not playing this card.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played a lot of mirror matches because he arrived there. He played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh during the last few weeks, and I mean, it's an interesting choice. I would really like to know why he decided not to play this card.
Yeah, so, I think it's exactly for this reason. Yeah. It's an option that probably higher the ceilings make your ceiling higher, so your deck has more options to combo off. But at this time, it's a bad draw, and we are seeing here Danilo struggling with finding a way to combo off, and it might be too late even because the Mischief of the Gnomes is there, the Zeus is there, so tough times for Danilo.
Yeah, I think the only piece Danilo was missing the previous turn was a spell card, because I think he has maybe one or two monsters.
Yeah, so now he's gonna force the negation. But I don't think you ever activated Zeus here. It's a bait. Your opponent hand was weak, and if you use it, then you give them a Queen Long engrave.
I think here you could just wait for an activation of a monster by Danilo, and then I think that this Daniel has a Chuche maybe set, because he also has the Mischief, so I don't think that's very good.
That's possible, but yeah, the Chuche is even there, which is tough. Did he just chain it on Queen Long? I think so. So he chained it on the Queen Long. This way the Zeus is active, but at the same time he's giving his opponent a chance to fight back. I'm curious to see. These players were obviously both prepared and knew their deck really well, but I'm curious to see if he is able to play around the Mischief of the Gnomes, because that card is actually quite annoying.
Yeah.
But maybe he can he can manage a way. Let's see. So.
Yeah, now you cannot activate the Zeus because otherwise Danilo could use this one Wu to bring back the GG and then activate the Qinglong, so that's why he's not doing it.
Yeah, but doesn't seem like it will be an easy road for Danilo. he has to deal with the Zeus and with the Mischief of the Gnomes. So.
Yeah, the real problem is I think it's the Mischief, because I think Daniel can easily control this situation here, because I think Danyllo's next move could be Qinglong activation. He has this one hook, but yeah, I think he could go for the Qinglong here.
Let's see. So he does activate, meaning he will reveal the card in his hand is.
Okay. Well, maybe here we'll look for Lulu, Lao Lao.
Yeah, Lao Lao is also okay, but you really have to keep in mind how do you play around. At least you only have one card, meaning that the gnomes will pretty much only affect one of your monsters. Oh.
Okay.
He gets the Lulu, okay. And it seems like Mischief is gonna be activated now. No, debating about it. I mean, you can wait.
Yeah, you can wait. I think you can also wait.
Okay, and the Ash. So he had a second copy of Ash, which is the reason why. Okay, so the Mischief is activated, which I think is not too impactful at the moment, since you can just Lulu and then get the Lalau, for example.
Do you think maybe he should have waited for the Lulu, because he could have changed the Zeus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, the thing is, you still have to play around the Zeus, because if you now get the Lulu, you don't have a way. But since the Lulu will be a level 2, you cannot go for like number 75 or something like that. But let's see. So it.
I think he passed.
Yes, yeah, he ended his turn. That was my main concern, because I think he forgot about the Lulu being active. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, Danyllo, I think, unfortunate play of the weekend. But at this level of competition, all your opponent needs is one mistake, and it can cost you the entire duel. And you can see here Daniel being overly excited with his combos. He knows his opponent entire hand, so he knows that there is no response, no way to interact with him, and Danyllo is already at 5400. So
yeah, he just needs to find a way to deal 5400 damage here, and yeah, he can easily go for Synchro Summon, then attack with the Zeus. I think
if you even one Synchro and just Vermilion and destroy a card, then that's already enough. But we'll see with how many style points Daniel wants to end this. And for everyone supporting Danyllo, unfortunately, it seems like his adventure will be over for this weekend. But nonetheless, he proved to be a formidable opponent. I think it could have gone either way, really. Especially this game 3. I think it was the one where he went back and forth the most, and Daniel had to play through 2 entraps in round 1.
For Daniel, so well played by him.
As expected, Vermilion hits the field, it will destroy the GG and just push for game with the rest. On top, there is even a Chushe, and I think Danyllo just realized and picked up his cards. So we have a winner for the match. It's Daniel Hartmann, our first player to advance to the top 4. Who will be his opponent, we'll find out soon. But for now, congratulations, Daniel. What a way to start day 2. It's been a long day yesterday all over Europe, but out of the top 16 and the 8 matches we covered, there was not a single game 3 whatsoever, all 2-0s. But now, day 2, it's a completely different day. As for any event of Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is what I've been telling anyone asking me for advice. Just take every game as a new game. So if we're talking about a new day, that even more that works. Whatever happened until that point of a tournament is completely erased, and you can see it here. Yesterday, 8 matches, no one went to game 3. Now we begin, and in the first round, we already have a back and forth matchup with a lot of things going on, and I think it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
So congratulations to both. But Daniel is the first player to advance to the top 4.
Yeah, congratulations to him. It was a very interesting match. I mean, yesterday we saw, as you said before, only 2 games in a virtual match. Now Danilo played very well. He had a lot of interruption to stop him, and well played, Danilo. Maybe next time you will advance to the top 4. So congratulations anyway.
Yeah.
It was a very huge adventure for you.
And absolutely. And now Daniel can to enjoy some free time, prepare a coffee or something to eat. And meanwhile, I think he will be in the first seat available, just watching for the next match coming up, because we will find out who the opponent for Daniel will be in the top 4 match. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, and we will be back soon with round 2.